Flashback to last night. Wine was sitting in bed as she watched her husband standing in front of mirror, getting ready for the evening event. They had a business after meeting dinner arranged somewhere, and only businessmen and their special employees were allowed. She had a pout on her face, and Jungkook's eyes shifted towards her reflection in the mirror. Jungkook, I am really sorry, Ryan, but I have to attend this. She nodded, but her expressions told she was not convinced at all. She had plans of a movie tonight, but before she could tell him, she found out about this event. Ryan and Jungkook had an arranged marriage. She was from his circle, a daughter of a great businessman. However, she had liking towards art. She kept herself away from business and its matters and pursued her career in arts. Ryan, I don't like your secretary. He frowned and turned around. Jungkook, why is that? Ryan, I don't know, I just don't. Jungkook smiled and walked to bed. He leaned down to her level and kissed her head. Jungkook, because she is going with me and you are not. He chuckled and kissed her cheek. Jungkook, she won't ever be standing beside me. That spot stays for my wife only. No one takes that. Ryan, you better come back quickly. Jungkook, I will. Now fix your pout. He pecked her lips and she fixed his coat, then he left. She didn't tell him about how his secretary always looked down at her, as if she stole her man. Ryan, shall I tell him? What if I'm overthinking? Shaking her head, she got off the bed and walked to dresser. She decided to try a new hairstyle to pass her time. She usually did that, trying new makeup arts and hairstyles in her free time to pass her time, or painting because Jungkook got her a whole studio in his home and all of her art supplies. It was very sweet of him. Her first birthday gift from her husband, which was extremely special. After an hour passed by, she received a text from his secretary, which spoiled her whole mood. The hair in her hand falling back straight and the softness in her eyes turning into anger. Ryan, I knew I didn't like her for a reason. It was a photo of Emma with Jungkook, which she obviously took when he was not looking. However, she tried her best to be as close to him as possible with a very inappropriate expression on her face. The text said, did you think you won't marry him? And a flashback. Vine asked Jungkook if she could come to his office today, to which he agreed without a question. However, he told her he might be busy with work and meetings. She had no problem with that because all she wanted was to meet Emma and give her a nice answer. Jungkook, why don't I order something for you to eat till I attend this meeting? Vine, who was having a look around the office, turned to him and smiled. She walked to him, leaning back against the table right in front of his chair. Ryan, I'll eat with you. Jungkook, the meeting might take 45 minutes. He put his hands on her waist, caressing the sides. Ryan, okay, then ask your secretary to order after half an hour. He nodded and stood up, fixing his watch. Ryan helped him wear his coat, then fixing its collar, and he went out, but not before kissing her head. It was not long after Emma entered the office without knocking. Ryan raised her brow and turned towards her while taking a seat on Jungkook's boss chair. Ryan, do you like randomly enter your boss's office in his absence? Does he even know about it? Emma, what are you doing here? Ryan, wrong question, lady. How about you tell me, what are you doing here? Ryan's eyes twitched at the fact she always tried her best to talk to people nicely, but she was never going to settle with a woman who had eyes on her husband. Emma, I work here. She rolled her eyes. Ryan, get out. Emma, excuse me? Ryan, I said, get out. Close the door, knock, and take permission. Once you're granted, you come back in. Emma, I don't take orders from you. Who the hell are you actually? Marrying him doesn't give you all this for granted. He worked hard for all of this, and I was the one who helped him build this all. Ryan laughed. It had to be the funniest joke of the century. Everything built today was the hard work of Jungkook's ancestors and he himself. She knows how hard her husband works day and night to keep everything in check. Ryan, by taking slutty pictures behind his back. Ryan couldn't even bother trying to act nice with Emma. All she wanted was to throw her out of his office. No one takes credit of her husband's hard work, and no one ever tries to take him away from her. Emma, the hell you said? She yelled, getting angry, and walked near Ryan. Ryan, my bad. Are you not? The pictures from last night said so. Emma, says the one who probably bought him with her body. Ryan grabbed the glass of water and threw it all over Emma. Emma's eyes were wide open out of humiliation and anger. Ryan never understood how come her sensible husband ended up hiring a secretary like her. She frowned when Emma suddenly started to pull her own hair and slapped her own cheeks again and again till they were red. Ryan, what are you doing? Hey, stop! She took a step back as she looked at the other lady abusing herself. Emma pulled onto one of her earrings and threw it down on the floor. Ryan, Emma, stop! What are you doing? You're hurting yourself. Ryan didn't even want to step forward to stop her. She looked like she lost control over herself, and Ryan had no plans of getting hurt in between. The door opened and it was Jungkook coming inside, but he stopped near the doorframe looking at the scene. His wife and his secretary standing there, while one was completely fine and other looked like in an extremely bad shape. Emma, sir, she cried and instantly walked to Jungkook. Emma, please save me. I don't know what happened to your wife. She suddenly started hitting me. I just I just came here to take the files you asked me to. She hugged herself and started crying, putting on the best show she could. Wine. Ah, is this why you did all of this? Wine was all calmed, but it didn't drop Emma's confidence as she continued. Emma, sir, I work for you. I've been doing that for years. To get treated like this? I'm sorry, but I'm going to call cops on your wife. Wine. Miss Emma, please go ahead and do that. She walked to both of them near the door and pointed out. Wine, leave, now. Emma looked at her angrily for a moment, then went back to be in a vulnerable state and stepped out of the room holding her cheeks. Wine shut the door with a loud thud and looked away. It took her a few moments and some deep breaths to calm her anger. Wine, I told you, I don't like her. Jungkook, come here. He held her wrist and walked to couch, taking a seat beside her. Jungkook, tell me what happened. Wine grabbed her cell phone and showed him the text from last night and video she recorded just a moment ago of everything that happened in his absence. She thanked her father for everything. She might have not taken interest in business, but she was a daughter of a businessman too. Wine's father used to take her to meetings and business parties to learn the things around. Emma might be working in one company, but Wine had experience of dealing with people belonging to several enterprises. She knew things like this were very common in that circle. People going to any length to get their things, and the first thing she learned was to record everything if you need a proof. Jungkook rubbed his temples and gave her cell phone back. Wine, I'm sorry. You must be tired and not all this. Jungkook, you don't have to be sorry for any of this. You did good confronting her and then recording everything. Jungkook, I'll see her then. Let's eat. You must be hungry. Wine nodded and Jungkook called in Emma again and turned the video playing on the cell phone towards her. Jungkook, can you explain this, Miss Emma? Her eyes were wide and she gulped. Did she just lose her best job with her own hands? Emma, sir, I just. Jungkook, I'm the one who is going to call the cops on you. If you have things here, take them and leave. Emma, sir, no. No, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I'll leave, but please don't call the cops. Sir, please, I will never get a job again. She cried as she joined her hands in front of her, begging. Jungkook, you should be apologizing to my wife. It took Emma some time, but she turned to Wine and dropped her head down. I am sorry, ma'am. Please forgive me. Vine, please leave. It's okay. Emma bored and instantly ran away. Vine, Dad would be disappointed in me. He would rather like it if I called the cops. Jungkook, that's your own good Vine. He grew you well, but now you need to take decisions which you are sure you won't regret. She smiled and Jungkook took a seat beside her again. Jungkook, I am sorry for not noticing it before. Vine, don't. I didn't tell you. She smiled and he put a hand on her cheek and kissed her, which she returned without wasting a second. It was his chest that bloomed with pride towards his wife, and after everything that happened, he only got to respect her more.